It's Monday, and would you look at that? The windows are open in the workout room because spring is coming. We're actually going to have a really nice day today, hoping to get the sheep out on some pasture, what there is of it right now, so we can clean out their space. So let's get to it. So this is what we're looking at this morning. We've got a lot of snow has melted. This should all be gone today, I think. But the ground has a frost on it. So I want to get into the sheep area while it's still a bit cold. There's actually, as much mud and muck as there is, there's actually still like frozen ground and ice and snow underneath the muck on top of it. So I want to get it cleared out so that layer can thaw. I'd love to get this whole area cleaned today, but I'm not sure that is going to happen. But even if I get out here done today and I can get the house done tomorrow, that would be great. I've got a shipment coming at some point for our grazing season. So we put in 5 grants this winter to support our grazing season this year. We got 2 out of the 5. So 1 was for all the fencing, the portable fencing to move the whole flock around, water systems, and shade shelters. So the shade shelters are coming today. All the fencing is in. The energizers are in. Those are the new feeding. Those are water troughs, but we're using them for feed right now. So we're going to get these guys moved out of here, get them down there. There's still some snow, but it's low enough the lambs can go out. And I don't think anyone's lambing today of the few that are left. So we're going to get them out of here and out there. Because tomorrow out there, I don't know. We'll see how muddy it gets. It's going to be absolutely muddy mess by this afternoon, which it was yesterday as well. So I want to get them moved and get to cleaning. So you can see we got the tractor out. So I'm going to start cleaning this place up. Spring cleaning is true absolute mess of spring cleaning this year. We haven't touched anything as far as clean out since Christmas Day. That was the last time. This pen was clean, the chicken coop was clean. It's just the weather's been so not compliant this year. So we're going to get to cleaning. I'm still trying to figure out, so 2 of the grants that I put in for was to help purchase a livestock trailer so that we can move these guys. So that I'm going to have to figure out, because let's see what we're going to do now. Because we didn't get either one of those. So we'll see. We'll see what we do. There's some good deals on used trailers out there. But just got to see what we can do for funds. Because winter has really hit us hard with the price of hay and the amount of hay we went through because it was so cold. Everyone was eating a lot more. And the price of hay just went through the roof because we didn't have a good hay year last year. So a lot of funds were depleted in hay this winter. So we need to get these girls out on grass. Well, we're going to get to work. Oh, here's a goal. We finally were able to open the chicken run. So the chickens will be able to come out of the mud mess. And out here today, still some snow, but it will melt as the day goes on, and they'll be able to pick around at the grass and mud and any bugs that do come up. So the dogs are out rolling right now. And we're going to get the sheep out. So here's the problem with the sheep is this is just an ice sheet of ice. So I've got to let them out and let them out slowly to come down here so there's no rush and we're not slipping and getting hurt. Whew. All right, all the sheep and lambs, all the moms and lambs are out. I'm completely out of breath. Some of the lambs followed, most of them did not. So I had to catch each one individually and bring them out. Whew. If I could have videoed it, it would have been quite the comedy show. But As you can see, everyone has found their moms. Moms are happily eating. Cody is happily laying right in the middle, as he does. And the very last lamb for me to catch was, of course, Rose's, who is the matriarch, and she just did not want to come out here or come to me. Luna is overwhelmed, super excited, but overwhelmed, and she knows she can't get close to the lambs. She got a few quick sniffs in before mamas claim their lambs, but she knows she has to respect the mamas. And if she calms down and just lays like Cody is, they will come over and sniff her. So it's something she'll learn. She's only, I don't know, about 18 months, so, or a little bit less maybe. No, she's about 18 months. So these guys have both fields today. The donkeys are out in their field. Everything's going to melt and muck up. But this is going to give them a bit more exercise. Get the lambs to learn to stay with their moms in a much bigger area. It's not mom's just 2 feet away. They have to learn to follow mom in a much bigger area. So we're going to get them ready for grazing in the summer, where they have these bigger areas and they need to learn to stick closer to mom. So I can start cleaning everything out of that area now and hopefully get in there a bit before it gets too muddy. But everyone's happy. We're still learning to find our moms, because that is not his mom. There's his mom. There he goes. And we've got this crew over here. There's your mom. Oh, it is so bright out here. Good job, Luna. And China, where is she? I'm pretty sure she's not running around. Oh, here she is, eating. She moved so slowly coming out here. So slowly and so carefully. She is so big. Look at that belly dropping. Maybe she'll lay them out on pasture today. Who knows? But we're going to get things cleaned up while these guys enjoy the day out here. They're probably going to be super hot and super itchy. They want this wool off. It's already starting to release and come off. So because their bloodlines are so old, many of them do rue. Like there's some of them that I can completely remove their fleece without shearing them. It is a task to do. It takes quite a while. And they don't particularly love it. Shearing is much faster. But we don't want them to release and have too much of the new coat, because then there's a separation in the wool. So we've got about 2 weeks left before shearing, and this is definitely weather that's going to make them start releasing theirs. One of my boys is releasing a whole lot right now. I've pulled a little bit off these guys, but they're ready to get these coats off. There's summer look. So we're going to get cleaning. Well, this is something we absolutely do not want. While the chickens have a gate that allows them to get out and others not to get in, these little lambs have made their way through, and this is not an area we want them in. So we're going to close the chicken door for today. Chickens are going to have to wait while lambs get used to sticking with moms. Go on, get out. They'll only fit through here, the really small ones. The bigger ones can't do it, and clearly the sheep cannot. So we have a gate door, and then we have this piece of hog panel that allows the chickens to go through and not anyone else to come in, typically. But the itty bitty lambs can get through this. So sorry, chickens, we're closing you out today. Not that any of them have ventured outside. So all right, crisis averted, because this is full of yuck and things we don't want lambs exposed to. Well, the fence panels were frozen into the ground still this morning, so I had to wait until everything softened up enough to where I could move the fence panel to get in here. So this is the mess I'm currently working with. I'm just trying to get everything outside of the shelter. It is several inches deep, as you can see. Cleaned up. You can see, I don't know if you can see, but there's still ice under there too. So I'm working with ice and mud and shit and just an absolute mess. I had to clear snow to be able to work over here a little more balanced on the tractor. But there is an awful lot I've already scraped up, so now I'm just trying to get it out and out of the way so I can get more scraped up. There's not too much left outside of the house to actually scrape up, but I want to get as much as I can, like this little corner right here, cleaned up and out of here so that this muddy mess, we need it to thaw first and then it can dry. So the longer I leave this on here, the longer it's going to stay wet and stay frozen. So I'm trying to move this process along. I've gotten some of it done. It is a little challenging with this is just ice slush, so I'm spinning all over the place trying to pull this out of here. You can see I'm like digging into the mud right there. Plus it's a lip of probably 4 inches up onto this ice. So fun day, but at least we're getting it done. Oh gosh, what time is it? Now that it is 2 o'clock, thank God for daylight savings. We have extra hours today, and we're just going to get this done. The sheep are out in the field, munching and laying, and they're up right now because they heard me turn off the tractor thinking they can come up here, but it's a mess up here, and they're perfectly fine down there. So we're going to keep at this and get this place cleaned up, but this is the not so sexy side of farming. So today is Tuesday. The girls are out here on grass still. They spent the night out here because I cleaned their little dry lot yesterday, but I still got to clean their house. So right now. But the field is starting to look like this. We have water, mud, muck, all the water's running downhill. Over there's a lot of mud. They spent the night and yesterday, most of yesterday here on this hillside because it's always drier. As you can see out there is wet. There's actually a little pond over there. So I gotta get this finished and get them back in today. With the cooler weather, this will freeze back up, but they're gonna stay down here until I finish the house, reset it, and get them back in today. Hopefully everything melts today. We had a lot of melting yesterday, and today's even warmer. So we should see most of it gone. Huge pile from yesterday. So this is their yard. It's wet and muck. There was still ice here, so there was a lot of ice packs still here when I cleaned up everything. That's the pile from yesterday, just from this area. This area is like 48 by 16 and it deletes down to 10 or 12. I forget how big that shed is. So there's the house. It is super thick. Like, look how thick that is. That's what I'm going after today. Clear all of that out. I got new bedding to go in there and get that a full reset and get them clean before the cooler weather comes back and this freezes up. So we're hoping that will suck in. I'm going to make a mess being in here with the tractor. It's going to stay muddy and yucky, but hopefully it continues to drain downhill. You can already see up here is drier. This is where the ice packs were. There's still ice here, actually. There's ice right here, and that's ice right there. So I'm going to get this all cleaned out and make that pile even bigger, make a bigger mess, but they'll have a nice clean house to go into and we'll be reset and good again for at least another month or so, or maybe till they head out for the summer. So that is on today's chore list, and it's already like 64 degrees. It's supposed to hit like 70, which is lovely for cleaning this mess up. But I gotta start taking things out of this house, like the heating bins and stuff, so that I can get in there with the tractor and clean. So off we go for a muddy mess of work. So I've started cleaning out the house. I don't know how good you can see it with the shadows, but oops, the pile is getting much, much bigger. And this is just a mud cake mess. But what I wanted to show, if any of you are using deep bedding, if you can see that gray there, that is your bedding composting, which happens when you're using straw for bedding, but you have to add, I believe that wood adds the nitrogen, which you need for it to break down. So I use wood pellets. They're horse bedding, that's how they market them. And that adds the wood, because we don't want wood chips in with our wool fleeces. Most mills won't even take it. It's going to ruin your fleeces. It's an absolute mess to get out. But this is what you want. For deep bedding, you want it to actually be composting and breaking down. That's what's going to add the heat and the warmth to the shelter. And I actually mix when I reset the bedding, when I add layers in to refresh everything. I put barn lime down, and then I put diatomaceous earth down. It's food grade. You want food grade to knock down the ammonia of the pea, and because that just gets toxic. And then the diatomaceous earth is for any like mites, fleas, anything like that, to keep that at bay. Because when you've got something warm like this, it's a great place for those things. So, and you don't want those like on your animals. So that's how I do it. If you do it differently, whatever. Some people have opinions on that. But I will put a layer of lime, barn lime down. I'll put a layer of food grade diatomaceous earth down. And then I put new bedding over it. So the animals aren't walking in it. It's underneath the new layer of bedding. But that kind of keeps it. That's what I've done for years. I've always had good luck with it. So that's what I continue to do. But this is what you want to see. You want to see your bedding actually composting. And you can see I have quite a bit to go. I cleaned out the smaller, the lamb lounge is already cleaned out. And I'm only maybe a quarter away in there right now. So I'm going to keep on working on this, but that is exactly what you want to see. You want to see that breakdown, that composting going on to give the heat into the shelter. So back to work and getting through this muddy mess. Hopefully I can level this out and it'll freeze tonight. Up there, as you can see, especially in the house, it's all dry. It's down here where it's wet and I keep running it over and over. So hopefully I can level this out. It's actually squeezing the water out as I drive out. So that's nice. And the sun's going to help dry it. But we're going to get back to work and get this place cleaned out so they can come back up here. So I did the best I could fixing all the ruts and stuff for now. Up here was pretty dry, so it's not too bad. The ruts are pretty deep right here. I'm going to fix this with the rake. It's pretty dry up here. It's just the mud pulling up. So I still got to go in, put some diatomaceous earth down, put some barn lime down, which I use old kitty litter boxes to keep them in. Remember your PPE when working with this stuff. A mask, goggles or something for your eyes, and you could even use gloves. The diatomaceous earth, it really dries you out. Like, you really need a lot of water if you ingest a lot of it. I mean, you could technically eat it, but ugh. So I'm gonna keep the sheep. See this pole right here? This is why this pole is here. We're gonna bring them up and in, and they're gonna stay in this section until all of this dries, freezes up, and then they'll have the rest of this run again. But I'm gonna clean this up a little bit, flatten it out a bit more, and their house is perfectly dry. This is the floor of the house. Like, there was still unprocessed pellets you can see in here. So this is still a solid base layer. It can go down more, which I will do when they move out, but there's still pellets in here. This is still clean. Just gonna give it a layer, but it's perfectly dry. So we're just gonna put some stuff down and then put a new layer of pellets, and that will soak up any moisture. This stuff is great. I don't even, a lot of horse people and other people will wet the pellets, which I do for our cat litter box. And then it turns out just like this, it's just sawdust, and it absorbs a ton of moisture, which is what I like because it will absorb the pee and doesn't make it mucky and disgusting in here. But I just leave it as pellets, and as it gets wet, it turns into the sawdust. So I never had an issue with it. So that's how we do things. So I just need to move this fence and move a couple things around, and then we are good to go. So I'm going to get to this, but we're 2 feet lower now. All clean. Thank God, that was driving me nuts. And the pile is probably a good 30 feet long. Most of it is about 6 foot high, probably about 4 foot wide. So that all came out of the house and this dry lot. And as you can see, there's still a little bit in here, but all of that, that's 3 months worth. December, January, February, March. Yep. So just under 3 months worth of debris, bedding, poop, hay that they discarded. So yay, it's clean, ready for the next round of winter. Hopefully no more snow. Good morning. It is Wednesday. Oh, my boots are covered from yesterday. So much mud. I'm getting ready to go out and feed dogs bowls and the pig bowl. Just heading out for our morning feeding. It is certainly chillier than it has been, but it's by no means cold. The girls are all cleaned out. I really want to get the boys cleaned out. I mean, they have areas where it's not even untouched, but I really want to get these boys cleaned out today. They have a smaller pen, and it's so thick. Mud everywhere. So this is just, it's probably not even this thick with hay, but there's probably ice and snow still underneath there. But it's such a small area, I'd like to get it clean today. However, this was such a big task. Getting these girls cleaned out. They do still have a bit of mud. Up here was all dry. This was a little muddy, but up here was dry. Their house is bone dry. But that, oh my goodness, this is so deep and so thick that we had to actually block them out of this part of the dry lot. I tried to fix it best I could with the tractor, but obviously as I went in to level it out, I was sinking. There's still quite a lip up onto ice right there where Luna's sitting. And you can see there's a board right there on the ground. We actually had to put a plank across the deep mud to let the sheep in because they would have sank in. And they would have turned back and not come. And hi, Rosie. So they're kind of restricted right now. But hopefully with the wind and nice weather today, maybe I can get in there a little bit to drain off some of that water and let this dry before the rain comes in tomorrow, maybe tonight. Miss Luna's hungry. You see this pile is just massive, massive, massive. And I was going to put pellets down in their house, but it was so dry and nice that I kind of left it and I can just rake it out for now. I did lime and do the lamb lounge, but this I just left for now because with the rain and stuff coming, then I can use those pellets to freshen it up after all the wet weather. Hi, Moona. So when you get feeding, I did the math yesterday on, as I was feeding them hay, and the girls are going through 3 bales a day right now, the girls and the lambs. Their bales are like $14.50, and the boys with the donkeys are going through a bale of their hay, which is about $9.50. So averaging that all out, it's about $55 a day in hay we're going through right now. We so need spring and to get these guys out on grass. I mean, it's downright crippling and probably mortal for some farms. Like, this can just put a farm under. We just had such a bad hay season here last year that they're bringing hay in from across the country, and it's costing us. We're paying a premium for it. So, and it's not even the best hay. So I'm going to get them fed. No worries, girl. I always find a way. So we're going to get everyone fed. And Cody's still on duty. I actually heard him howling last night. The coyotes went off. And I don't know what they were saying. But instead of barking, I heard him howl for the first time. And they actually were heading in the other direction. So they weren't coming closer. They got further away. But it was cute to hear. Moving on. Another area that needs to be cleaned, but the gate is open. The chickens went out last night after we got the sheep up and pulled the dogs out for a while, just because it's so muddy. You can see the mud there. So the critical timing with the sheep was getting them out in the field while it was still sort of solids, cleaning out their area, getting them back in their area while this turns to mud and grasses start to come in a bit. So the chickens will be out there, the dogs will be out there watching the chickens, and these guys, oh, they started laying again too. I don't know if I mentioned that. So I decided to give them the winter completely off. No lights, no anything. We gave them the winter off, and thank God I had decided to do that because it was so cold. It was just, they needed all their own energy. So happy to have them laying again. We'll have eggs back at the markets. And part of the reason I don't have time today, look at the mud over here, to clean the boys, I don't think, because I have some computer work that needs to get done. And it was gonna rain. They couldn't decide on the rain or not, but you see how muddy it is down here. This is with animals. Like, this was the sheep walking on it. And there's pockets of wet, all that right there. Oh, look at that. Look at that chicken feather mess over there. Interesting. Huh. I don't think we had any casualties last evening. But I have computer work that needs to get done. It doesn't look like we're going to get rain today at all. It's not bluebird skies like yesterday, but it's still going to be 60s and get this all dried out. So maybe I can get both done, but I do have a meeting that I need to go to tonight, and I need to get some paperwork done to have available for that meeting and get some other things filled out for summer markets. So hopefully the rest of the snow goes today so we don't have too much flooding with rain. The pond has thawed. Let's get moving. Now that I'm down here, this is where, so that's one of the hay piles from yesterday. I don't know if you can see that, but here's all the standing water now that the snow has melted. Down here gets, so the property slopes and it gets really wet down here, which is why the donkeys actually have full run of this field and their space, because of this. Look at this. So the whole saying, happy as a pig in shit, they're not happy in shit. She is happy in mud in the summer because it helps cool her off, but she is not right now. She's making this worse because she paces. So we got mud over there. I'm trying to keep this area dry. I cannot come down here with a tractor until this dries out. So this will probably get raked by hand as it dries, but a lot of water runs down here, so we're giving them a full run so there's no concentration of their weight. And I mean, they don't weigh as much. Oh, get out of that. But we don't want their hooves in this. Oh my goodness, see, I just sank. Look at this hole. And that was solid, just grass. So they don't weigh as much as some other livestock like cattle and horses, but they weigh, what do we weigh, 500-600 pounds? It's enough to make mud, so if I give them more space, there's less concentrated hoof traffic and less mud. So we're gonna get them over there where it's drier and get them eating. And I have to walk through this. Ugh. So in the donkey's house, it's dry. And Bella has her little spot in here as well because, as I said, pigs do not like to be in shit. So her bedding is pristine. She likes her nice clean house. However, I wasn't videoing it, but it is super wet down here. And when I went through the gate, my second step, it's suction cup mud. And my second, this is just awful. This is just, it's awful down here. I could not get my foot out. I actually almost fell over, which would have been awful. But I had to grab the gate to get my foot out because I had it had that much suction power that I could not get my foot out of the mud. Last time we had it like that was when we had meat pigs. So this is the second gate, and I'm trying to skirt along the edge. But that gate, I almost went down. You could see, ugh, how much my feet are going in. Oh, okay. And the boys are eating. So I'm gonna go check this corner because it's notoriously wet. And there's a drain pipe over here that has been moved since we bought this property because it used to dump into the field over here. And it's been moved, but it still is not, it's still draining into our property, which is not okay. Oh, look, I found a tag. Several of my girls lost tags. They ripped them out last year. Several of the lambs, and then I've got two that I don't even know where their tags went this winter. They still have the hole in their ear's not ripped. Just the tags are gone. So the donkeys have been down here, clearly. And we're just gonna check. This is what we don't want. We don't want the pig coming over with the water, the drainage, and the muck. So there's a drainage issue here. And back here is really wet. Oh, that's nice. The electric's down. It's not on, so it's really wet. There was actually a full-on pond back here yesterday. That back there through the woods is a swamp, which this is another neighbor issue because he thinks he owns it. We own it. He has an easement to go through, but it's like a freaking troll. But this serves as our superhighway for wildlife, coyotes, deer. And it's usually what the dogs are barking at, keeping them at bay. So this water receded really quick. This was standing water yesterday, so that's good. That means the ground has defrosted enough to absorb water, which we want before the rain. You can hear me walking. Blech. Planted this willow tree a couple years ago, and it just blooms like crazy as far as like how big it's gotten. And I do use some branches off of it to make nesting balls, which I will need to be doing very shortly here. Someone was just asking about them. So I said, yes, I will have them at the next market. So that's a project we gotta do. Throw that in there. Let's see if we can get out of here. That footprint right there. I could not get my foot out. It was awful. I'm gonna dump this bucket over the side and then I could use my hands to get through this. Put that down over there on the dryer. Maybe I can scale this fence. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's still frozen. This way I have it on video if I fall on my butt in this mud. Oh my goodness. Ah, success. You can see the water running. So I'm going to leave the dogs over in that field with the chickens so that I can have this field open so that if I can go get what I need to do done, I can put the boys down here later and clean. So this is really swampy. The reason this pile's here is because it's composting, and as it does, I want to kind of backfill this a bit and level it out a bit more so this area is not so wet. You can see the swamp grass. That's a little like mohawky type cut grass. It's all swamp grass. And I was able to graze back here, because that back here was all swamp grass. Graze it enough and use the animals to change the easement. Although my little troll neighbor likes to kick me out of my own property, to where this is all nice grazable grass now. So here's our little pond. I dug this when we moved here because it was so wet back here. I just dug a hole, and there's clay under there. I mean, it's a glorified puddle really, but it gave the ducks, when we had ducks, a place to go, the geese and the pigs. So we're down to one pig. The dogs love it. It does get algae ridden in the summer. I'd like to get some willow to plant around it to give it like a shade so maybe it doesn't get as bad with the algae. I tried, what is it, barley straw one year. I put a whole bale in there. It did not do it. So much sun. So this area is just a muddy mess. It's going to be that way for a while. So hopefully we get well, we're going to freeze next week. It'll be a light enough freeze, but that slow season of freeze thaw allows things to soak in a little bit of a nicer manner than a quick defrost like this was. But it was warm enough where it defrosted really fast and the ground defrosted, so that's good. Lots of frogs in here. Lots of frogs. The dogs are waiting for me to come feed them, and the sheep. So we're going that way. This was the compost from a couple years ago, just so I can show the difference in compost. This actually composted up top, so where you see the big pile that I cleaned up yesterday, composted up there over one season. I brought it down here for the second season, and this is, it's not, I don't think it shows as dark as it is on the camera, but super nice soil. I had already spread some of it out, filling in. This is where we used to have meat pigs. There was a big hole. As you can see, they make mud, and she's not even a meat pig, but this was a deep hole in their little shelter area. Raggedy shelter they had, but the dogs love it, so we leave it. I gotta fill in more of the back area and just spread this out. Same thing, just kind of level this area so it's not as wet. But that's the really nice soil that we make. So that pile is working on it, and we just rotate the piles. So that stuff will stay there for a bit and then come down and get spread. So I just drained these bigger puddles. Basically I dug a little ditch and let it run, and I backfilled the puddles to get it to push out. So the majority of the water, but as this dries more, I can step on the edges of it. But as it dries more, then I'll get in here with the tractor and pack it down. Roco, one of the best tools. I was introduced to Rocos through mountain biking, through our trail maintenance. It's actually a firefighter tool. That's what it was built and designed for originally. But it is the best all-around tool. They come in different sizes, different head sizes, different shapes. I had to have one for the farm. I actually bought a smaller head one than what is used usually in mountain biking. I like the smaller head. I like the smaller shaft. This is a 42? No, hold on. Yeah, 42 inch. 42 inch handle, because I'm not taller, but they do have different size handles, different material. I think you can get hickory, you can get oak, you can get aluminum. But overall, round tool, if you haven't been introduced to Rocos or know what they are, check out Roco. Best tools. Firefighters love them. They work for pretty much everything. This is my baby. I bought this when I bought the farm, pretty much when I bought the tractor. And it gets used for everything. So there is one, I want to get another one, has the forks on the back and it's more of a pointed end. Because especially when you're digging like this to dig out mud holes, I used it a lot on the trails. But we'll get this mud drained and get it out of here and fix this area so they can have the rest of their space. Ooh, the girls are getting feisty. Sun is coming out, so hopefully we'll get dried. It's not as bad as it was last night when I was mucking it back into some sort of shape. So these girls still want to be fed. I keep finding little projects to do. Cody is eating very slowly today, and Luna keeps going down there because she wants to go out back. So he's guarding his food, but he's not eating it. And she wants to go back. Well, she does want his food too. She is kind of a butt like that. Dude, eat your food. I don't have time to babysit. The sheep want to eat. So this smaller space makes it a little bit of a challenge to give them their grain supplement, which they only get this time of year, and they absolutely love it. Like they're walking in the mud. There's really no space in here. I fed them down in the field last night before they came up. But the lambs still have their lamb lounge. Ladies, I am talking. So I'm going to go feed the lambs their grain. And gives them a little bit of supplement while we have not so great hay. And we're not on grass yet. Alright, hold on. So they got their grain. It's mostly the older lambs, believe it or not. Obi is one of the older lambs. He's only a week younger than them, but he's so much smaller. For the boys, this is the only time in their life they will actually get bits of grain. Is now. They will not get grain as they're older. They'll know a grain bucket, so it trains them. So when we're out in the fields, they will follow a grain bucket. I may give them a few nibbles, just so that they continue to follow the bucket. But this is it for the boys. And the girls only get it, obviously, during lambing in winter. And I'm hoping that as we grow and get some system changes in that I want, that we won't need grain at all. But for right now, they need the extra calories. We don't have the best hay. They need the extra protein. So that's what we do. All right, I'm figuring it out, girls. So the tag I found in the field was Laverne's in here. Yep, there's Laverne right there. You see she has no tags. I'm trying to get a video. There it is, right? You can see her ear is actually split. So she ripped the tag out. So got it caught, did something, ripped it out. So I used to always put, as you can see on Peanut, 2 tags in their ears. And I was like, why am I putting 2 in? Well, this is why. Because if they're off property and they lose 1 tag, I mean, one's required by law, their Scrapey's tag, and then, but if they have the other tag, I at least know who they are, and it still says my farm. So this is Velma. She also ripped her tag out. We had quite a few rip their tag. I have no idea what they were doing. Shirley ripped her tag out. So Laverne and Shirley both ripped their tags out last year. So they're sisters. And then, where are you? And here's Peaches. So she had 2 tags. She still has her Scrapey's tag. But there, you can see the hole in her ear. China, too. I've mentioned this previously. China got a new Scrapey's tag because when she came here, hers popped out. See? So they didn't rip them out. I don't know what happens when this happens. Like, I don't know how that happens. I get the rip out part. Do not get the hole. So she's lost hers again this winter. Peach has lost hers for the first time this winter. Not really understanding what's going on there. So they will have to get new ones. And everyone will get double tagged because they're going to go off property. And if we lose one, we at least have the other. And both tags, obviously, the Scrapey's one has an identifier on it, which identifies our farm. So it's our basically farm license Scrapey number. And the farm tag, which is a little confusing when they come from other farms. But let's see, who has another one? The green tags are our farm tags. And they have our farm name on it, so anyone can see those and see our farm name. Does anyone have a green tag I can show? She does, but we'll get one out of the thing. So these girls came in with their tags. So Rose originally came from Texas, so she's got all sorts of tags on her. But that's the identifier for us. Always watching me crazy. Good morning. It is Thursday. Getting everyone fed this morning. And the chickens out. They're so happy to be back on pasture. Feeding everyone. It is very misty and foggy. We got rain last night. I mean, it doesn't really change anything, just adds more water to the mud. But we'll see. The hay barn's getting pretty low, so you gotta go get hay again. Might not be today, might be tomorrow, because it is wet out. And look at Muna, she's already done. She sucks up her food so quick. So I think I have a plan for these guys. Not that I have a plan for moving the sheep yet and getting them over to their summer pasture, but I think we're going to run one dog at a time with the sheep. And so Cody's going to be the night dog and then come home, because he's really good with the chickens and he watches them in the field all day. So we don't have to worry about predators. We have a lot of natural predator diversion here. A lot of hawks and stuff like that. But because of the cornfields, we also have a lot of, I want to say crows, but they're not really. I think there's a mix. There's crows and the magpies, I think. The bigger birds, which is what the dogs are trained to chase, and those are the bad birds. They'll come down and steal eggs if they're laid out in the field. So that's kind of how we train the dogs to predatorial birds. So they will watch for predatorial birds. So he's really good during the day. Having him here to rest during the day and watch the chickens without me having to worry. She's still young and likes to chase chickens every once in a while. She's not too bad, but they don't want to come out with her because she thinks they belong in the run. So she pushes them back in the run constantly. She's like, nope, this is your safe space. So I'm probably going to bring her over during the day with the sheep. She loves her sheep, loves her lambs. And she'll do really well during the day. Like I said, she's still young, where Cody is older and more experienced, and I'll have him there at night to watch the sheep. So that will give both of them time going back and forth. And because we don't travel that far, and I go over there every day anyway, I'll have to feed, obviously, the dogs. It will just give each dog time to stay with the sheep. He'll have his more restful day job, and she can lounge with the sheep all day and still do her job. She does need to get fixed this year, so I gotta call and schedule that. Actually, that's on the to-do list today, is to call the vet and schedule appointments, because Cody needs his shots, she needs shots, she needs to get scheduled. And what else do we have? We have a couple things today, so it's probably going to be another day at the computer, getting some things done and caught up. You all done, buddy? Miss Luna loves food, so she would almost push Cody away from his bowl because she's a pig. There you go, Moon. Gonna see if there's any scraps. So we're still working on the livestock. Wow, okay. Livestock trailer issue to move the sheep. But we'll figure it out. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Oh, the ugliness of spring on the farm. Before everything's nice and clean and green, it's just a muddy mess. So this area, I can't say it's drying out. It's getting firmer. But now it has puddles from rain last night. The girls were all in their shelter when I checked the cameras this morning. Several lambs in the lamb lounge. Yeah, we'll see what we've got going. This is another big project is this summer, which is what I'm going to be working towards while everyone's out on grass and I'm not spending money on hay, is a new shelter for next winter. So there's going to be a lot of changes around here, should be. And these guys will be out of the way so we can get that work done. Look at all the lambs in the lounge. They know what time it is, so I'm going to bring them grain. And that's their safe space to eat their grain. Without all you piggies getting it. Helps fill their bellies, puts less stress on moms. Same as we feed the moms, so we'll get there. Hi, sweet little lady. Lady Wadey. Hi. It's so funny to see how big the older ones are compared to the newer ones. Such a big difference. They grow so quick. Why are you jumping up that? Let's get them some feed. Pig piling, getting some grain. Little nibbles. They don't get very much. Nobody gets a lot. It's just enough to supplement. These are the two youngest. Wadey, and he does not have a name yet. These guys, and then we have these two over here. Look at him, he's such a Obi. And this little one. The twins don't have a name either. They don't have names. We have four that are, what, 1, 2, 3 that are unnamed. So we gotta get them some names. These are having a good old time. Acting like bosses. Oh, we're missing one. Where is he? There he is. He's hanging over here. Our little brown boy. That's Kato. Hi, buddy. Good job, Kato. So everyone's eating. Ooh, it's windy. You can see let's see. The pellets are starting to break down a little bit to be that sawdust. See over there where it's gotten wet in there. You got it. You got to go over a rail, not under. You got to go over a rail, sweetie. Hold on. There you go. I just had to show her to go over the rail, not that bottom one is smaller. And in here, besides being wet from them walking back and forth, it is dry. So now that it mountain had this base layer, I could just rake this out and get it all nice and clean. And we'll wait for this moisture to pass through and put some fresh pellets in here and let that break down into some new sawdust. Always watching me, crazy. Ugh, this one, she is a mess. If we can teach you how to not be such a slob, look at you, you're always full of hay. This is why the back, like when I have to process my fleeces, I usually pull the backs out. Those just go into other products. They do not go into yarn because of girls like her. Things are sticking to them because they're wet, but if we get a dry day, things will fall right off. We just don't want that to get right down into the fleece. I would bet she is full in that back. I don't know what she does. So this is firmed up a bit in here where the sheep are, but I don't trust that. So we're off for some more computer work today, some phone calls, and just getting things organized. Look at you. peanut. Oh, we gotta go feed the boys. The boys are hungry. You're growing up. You're getting to be a big boy. You are. And Charlie, our little wither. Our big wither. You're a big boy now, Charlie. Huh. Oh. Those other boys, our big boy rams, are like little princesses. They don't like to come out in the rain. They sit in there in the house and wait for me to come feed them. You guys don't mind. So I'll get you some food. Hi, Orion. With your little lips, huh? So, a sure sign of spring, you can see on him, is we're starting to drop our wool. Which is why we try to shear no later than March. There's wool everywhere. Can I show them all the wool hanging off you? Look at, better when you're dry, but there's wool. Wool, this is not snow, this is wool. Wool, wool over there. There's just bits of wool everywhere. Because of their older bloodlines and genetics, they do release their wool, unlike a lot of domesticated sheep. So you can rue them, which just means pull their wool right off. So we need to get them shorn. And we do have that date, oh, I believe it's the 28th. It's the last Sunday in March. We will be looking for at least 5 volunteers, so if that's something you're interested in, just reach out. A lot of it is, this place will all be cleaned up, but bagging wool, marking bags, operating gates, letting sheep in and out. As far as sheep handling, myself and the shearer do most of handling. That's opening the gates and closing them, which is a huge help when it's a little chaotic. It lasts about an hour. There's only like 20-something of them to do. So, it goes pretty quick. Usually takes a shearer 3 or 4 minutes. I mean, it could take up to 5, but it doesn't take very long to get through a fleece and get them off and back running. So, that is something we have coming up. It does have to be dry that week, so I haven't gone over that previously. Oh, it's windy. It does need to be dry for several days prior to, because the sheep need to be dry, which means we'll want it to be dry from pretty much Wednesday on that week. Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah, Wednesday or Thursday on that week we need it to be dry, so the sheep are super dry. Hey, diggers! No! And then I got workshops. So that's one of the things I got to work on today is the newsletter and get the newsletter out with all the dates of everything. So off we go to work. Well, we made it to another Friday. It is Friday the 13th, as a matter of fact. It's kind of quiet if I don't talk. They don't hear me. But just enjoying a cup of tea before I head out to feed and get everyone going for the day. Some of the chickens are out. The dogs have just been patrolling, watching for any bad birds. See that? See that response? She's like, what? What'd you say? Where is it? Oh, Nala. Just a few minutes of quiet before we head out to feed. Gotta go get more hay today. Girls will be down to none once I feed them. And then got some errands. The newsletter will be coming out today, so I got dates confirmed for workshops. And we're actually going to be doing some workshops up in Massachusetts too. And then dates of events we have coming up. I've got a haircut. Ooh, I never go get my, I'm awful with that kind of thing. So I'm going to get my haircut for probably the first time in 2 years, and Then we gotta go see the cows and pick up some milk and some other things from farm to table. That's about our day. So I'm gonna finish my cup of tea and then go start feeding, getting everyone out for the day. It is supposed to be like 40 degrees today. It's sunny. There's a slight breeze, but not windy and wet and cold like it was yesterday. And if you like my teacup, this is the bigger version, but this is from the Gnomestead. And she actually is right next to me, or at least has been the past couple years, at the Connecticut Sheep and Wool Festival. So you can find her in Barn 4 right next to me. I think she's still there this year. So come see us. That's at the end last Saturday in April. And I'm going to end this week here because there's a lot of content this week and I like to keep them a little shorter, under 30 minutes. We'll see how that goes. But I'm going to end this week here and we'll start getting some content for next week. Have a great week.